A robbery at a new state-of-the-art school in Tsakane near Brakpan here in Gauteng. Almost 200 tablets and other equipment were stolen from the newly opened school. The school cost 105 million rand to build. Gauteng Education MSc Banyaza Lesufi has asked the community to hunt for the robbers. The department's spokesperson Steve Mabona joins me now in studio. So Steve, you opened the school last week, in fact, as schools reopened with the promise that it will deliver the quality of education that you believe should be delivered by a province such as Gauteng in 2019. And then what happens?
It's quite a setback. It's quite disappointing for us as the department. I mean, we just handed over the school to the community on the 9th. The Premier and the MEC were there. And we normally tell the members of the community that when we hand over, they need to make sure that they assist us to make sure that schools are safe. You know that we use patrollers at these schools, but we have CCTV, cameras which are actually helpful to check on what is happening. But these guys, it looks like they had information because, they even went to the server and confiscated your hard drive, which will be then saying you don't have any access on information on the cameras. So you just have those cameras there, but you don't have footage that you can go through and check. So it looks like they knew what they were doing because they broke only the main door and the second, which led them to the vault. And the vault, they didn't break it. They filled with it and up until it opened. So you can tell that they knew what they wanted, and they knew where the keys of other offices that they want to, access those keys, and then it was free for them to just open and take whatever they wanted to take.
So very likely that they had, for lack of a better word, good intel in their planning.
It looks like it, but we must give the police an opportunity to investigate because they've started with their work. They were, interviewing some people there. We hope that they will have a breakthrough as we challenge the members of the community. Figuratively, we said they must hunt, but we were actually misunderstood by people saying we are promoting mob justice and all that. We were saying if you happen to know or have information, you must be vigilant and take that information, donate to the police so that police can then investigate. Not you taking responsibility of wanting to grab criminals and taking them to the police. We know that that's not a responsibility of the community, but we are saying at least by Friday we should have something that is concrete.
So in terms of the actual infrastructure, what was lost at that particular school, but also link that to what was lost by way of the sort of value to the education of these young people?
Look, over 185, tablets. As you will understand that this IT school, all the grade 7th, they are taught by educators who utilize your smartboard. The information is in the laptops. And when they access the smartboard, learners should follow utilizing their tablets. So now it backs to square one because where learners must now utilize, the olden way of doing things, exercise books, draw or write some notes and all that, which is something that for this grade 7, it's something that they're not accustomed to. And this is the, few days of the first, term, they are still being orientated on how this thing is going to be, operating. Now it's a drawback in terms of value for us because they might be challenged in terms of them knowing how to operate these gadgets and adapting to the system of IT. And the other thing is your e-books. They don't have textbooks. They utilize what we call e-book. Information is stored in there and it's easily accessible. So that is stolen as well. They stole your desktops, overhead projectors, plasma, and
Yeah. So how common is this, Steve? Because from time to time I do see the MEC tweeting about an incident here, an incident there. So how commonplace is this?
We were hard hit in Tshwane last year. Like for instance in Atteridgeville, over 4 schools were robbed They broke in there. They went to an extent of breaking walls, just to confiscate your smart boards. But because they are easily traceable because of you can track them, they were then found. But utilization thereof, they've interfered with. It's not easy to take it back, to utilize. And you don't know what will people do with such an equipment, because after you took it off our wall, you can't utilize it. So people need to know that you don't want to tamper with it.
So certainly lessons for the national government, National Department of Education, of Basic Education, who are planning to roll this out on a bigger scale nationally. Security is a concern.
It is a concern, but really we cannot be held at, ransom by the criminals. We invest a lot in terms of your quality of education. We need to improve that and make sure that we change the narrative. We can't be saying we're not going to invest on education or quality of education because we're afraid of criminals.
Steve, I'm out of time, but I can't let you go without asking you about the process to enroll those pupils who were sort of left out in terms of being placed at particular schools. How far is that? And also, while you're answering that, also tell me about the update in as far as the El Dorado Secondary School is concerned that has been engulfed in those protests.
Look, in terms of placements, we are saying to parents whom we have already placed provisionally, because we looked at our stats and we discovered that, look, there's quite a sizable number of those that did not go to schools to access those placements. So we are calling upon them to go to schools. We gave them the deadline of Friday, 12 o'clock. If they did not go there, probably they might have opted for private school, independent school, or any other option that they might have opted for, because you can't offer a space to people and they don't do anything about it. So we felt that let's not talk about a number of people that we have not placed, because it's not accurate. We might be sitting with a huge number of people that actually they don't need the space anymore. So hence, in the media space, they are saying, yeah, but why you don't want to talk about numbers anymore? It's easy. I mean, we are chastised for nothing actually, because we have done so much. When coming to placement of learners. We placed so many. When you look at our applications, over 282, over 266 of those have been placed already. So when you look at the numbers, you can tell that there's some lack of probably cooperation, from some of the parents, which we are encouraging them to do.
So the deadline is Friday for them to come forward and accept the places you've offered. El Dorado Secondary School?
Look, we are starting the process of integration at that school. We said that we're exploring on how we're going to mitigate the debacle that is there. The official of Johannesburg went to El Dorado to engage with the SGB to say they need to allow the 7 teachers to come and teach there, because the ones that they want to impose on us, they don't have contracts. We don't have a relationship with them anymore, because they were on a month-to-month base, your contract. So we are not going to be in a position to can pay them. So they don't need to be there. They need to accept these teachers and cooperate and work with us, because they were exonerated from the investigation that they went through, and the principal as well. So we really need to work together. And we consulted actually the entire educators at school there. They are actually, waiting for their colleagues. They can't wait for them to come back, be reintegrated in the system, so that they can then continue to do their work.
The process is ongoing. Thank you so much for coming through. Steve Mabona speaks on behalf of the Department of Education here in Gauteng. This is ENCA Now.